What's good, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. This is Olatbo Solanrewaju, and I'm your host. This podcast is a safe space for real conversation. No pretense, no filter, just honesty. So today's episode is very important to me. It's also important to every one of you, especially for us youths, young ones, like you understand, like the people in Nigeria. Today's episode, we're talking about drug abuse among our youths. So I have someone very close to me on this episode, someone I trust to be honest, real, and open with this conversation. Welcome to the podcast, my guy, Ovo Odidimbu. How you doing?
Fine, very well.
How's it joining?
Thank
But
you.
it's not stressful.
It was not. It was quite direct.
Okay, so before we get serious, let's warm up small. Like, how you really doing today, my bro?
Well, I'm good. I'm really good. It's a different experience for me today. Hitting the road, coming from far to somewhere I've never been before. It's a total different experience, and I love the new experience. So I'm happy for your invitation.
Thanks for honoring us, ma'am. Thanks for honoring us. I want to go to the context of this whole conversation we want to have here. When people hear drug abuse, you don't understand. When people hear drug abuse, they usually think like it's a criminal or people in the streets. But the truth is, a lot of our youth students, like maybe creative, hustler, are involved quietly. Like from your own experience now, what have you seen around that? Like, what have you seen around you? Like, you understand when it comes to this drug of a thing today in Nigeria.
Once again, thank you for having me on your show. Drug abuse. So what is drug? Let's start with what are drugs? So drugs are substances that people take for several reasons. For example, they have drugs for maybe if you are sick, you go to the doctor, he prescribes some drugs for you for medications. But then that's where abuse comes in. What is drug and what is its relation to abuse? Yeah. So there are several substances in the markets, and then there are pharmacy and likes. But then these drugs are drugs that are to be prescribed to patients with specific ailments or specific sicknesses. Okay, to help them, sustain themselves or to treat those, if it's a virus that was detected by the doctor, the professionals will know better about that. But these drugs have specific purposes. But then, over time, people have found the way to discover maybe the side effects of these drugs.
Okay.
Keep people on such maybe make them high, make them feel light. So over time, people tend to go back to these things because of that feeling that they get from it. Not necessarily because they want to treat, say, maybe a sickness or it was prescribed by a professional healthcare practitioner.
Okay.
But then because of they have seen that these drugs tend to give them that instant gratification or that instant highness or that instant joy, something like that. But then overall, it does more harm than
Do you think it's getting worse than before?
Definitely, it's definitely getting worse. So these things over time evolves. Before now, people who take drugs, they hide to do it. And then they get the information from people outside who are more exposed to such drugs. But nowadays, it's more rampant and more amongst the youths and even the minors. The reason is because of social media.
Because I won't lie to you, most of these people, like, I really do not know how it all started. But from what you've seen, how do most young people get introduced to this drug of a thing?
Like I said,
Like,
social media. Social media has a lot of pros and also has a lot of cons.
But I understand social media, but to me, some people want to take it based on depression or probably maybe everyone is doing it.
How did they get,
Culture,
how do they get to know that everyone is doing it?
and some people want to even escape the reality.
How do they know that this will help them escape reality?
You know, when they are high now, like you understand, when they are high, they feel like they leave their problem behind. To me, I really do not want to support the whole thing, no, but I'm just letting you understand why most of our young youths are doing it.
Okay. I understand perfectly where you're
And some people are peer pressure too.
Definitely. Those are other cases, sir. Those are other scenarios whereby people get introduced to it, to drugs. Now, why did I say social media? Let me be.
You keep talking about what is social media do for you. You keep talking about the social media.
Social media.
You keep talking about the social media.
Let me paint a very good story for you, or a better scenario for you to understand where I'm driving to.
Okay.
Now, as a child growing up, or most children, how do you think they learn? How do you think maybe father comes back from work and he comes back with goodies and gifts and gives to the wife and says, see you, this is what I brought back, and love stuff like that. And when the child grows up, tends to learn from what the father has been doing. That means he has been watching the father, right?
Sure, definitely.
So definitely people learn over time from what they see. If you see somebody do something, we learn. How do two virgins know how to pupit, how to mate and and get children, produce children? How do they know? They must have seen or heard, definitely, because nobody's going to be in the room with them to teach them. So two things: what they see and what they learn from their colleagues or friends. So where did they see it? Social media. So that's where social media comes in. So when you see the celebrities who do drugs, from movies where they do drugs, from all these skits that tells you one or two things about drugs that I've never heard before. May I want to go and experiment. Little do you know that from that little experiment, you become an addict. And then you learn the bad side without learning the good side. We learn that these drugs keep you high. These drugs make you feel a certain way. And you don't know how to control it. You don't know how to stop. So that is why I keep running back to social media. Then peer pressure, friends, colleagues, built environments, and what have you also contributes to the abuse of drugs and how people get introduced to drugs.
Okay, so one thing again is like, how did he change them from who they are, like who they used to be, like when it comes to this drug of a thing? I don't know. You just said a story now, but this question of a thing, I really want to like understand how this drug changed them from. Because I won't lie to you, if you see someone that take drug and someone that is not taking drug,
most likely
there's a difference with them. Like they are more of aggressive, or I don't know. And some people will say they are always like more. Their strength is always increasing.
Yeah.
You understand? So to me, I don't understand. I want to like understand why it used to change them from who they are or something, or who they used to be.
So I believe medical practitioners, those in the field, they know really what's in those drugs. Yes. But then, what gives you instant gratification? What gives you instant joy? That's temporary highness. It does more damage than what is prolonged.
We mean the addiction.
That's when they use that substance, when they use whatever drug they use, they feel a certain type of way. For example, someone might be feeling down, depressed, and then decides, okay, let me take this drug to feel a little better, to clear off my head. How long do you think that problem that is already existing is going to last, or it's going to clear off when you use that drug? So when you use that drug, because of the problems you have or the problems you are facing, when you take those drugs, what happens? For a very short period of time, you feel better, you feel alive, you feel like there's nothing bothering you. Then, after a year of, it'd be like you go back to reality again.
Me, I just know that like there are some consequences of drug abuse, like people don't see or don't talk about when it comes to like the mental health, the broken relationship, the lost opportunity, health issues, go like identity loss, legal troubles. So at what point do you think like someone can control it, like becoming a lie or something?
So the truth is that's where addiction comes in. Addiction now makes it impossible for people to revert or to reverse those actions. Now, because they are used to feeling a certain type of way,
Okay.
they are no longer in tune with reality. They don't know how to feel the normal way they're supposed to feel as humans. Those drugs that they use make them feel extraordinary, give them extra power, gives them those the motivation which was not even in existence. Do you understand what I mean? Some people who are shy normally, who have a very shy personality, but then when they take drugs, you see them acting strange. You'll be like, is this not the guy that I know? No, it's not this guy that doesn't know how to talk or something like that. So then those drugs gives you extra morale. But then when you are now you are not in tune with those drugs are taking, over time you see yourself not being able to go back to reality or go back to your real self. Such that if you go back, maybe you are not high on drugs, you're not able to perform, you're not able to do what you were doing earlier, you have to go back to those. Just take, for example, why do some musicians tell you that, whenever smoke more inspiration, no, they come, that kind of thing. You say you get. Why do you have to rely on taking substances for them to get inspiration? That's because they have relied so much on those drugs that they are no longer in tune with reality.
So they can't even do it on their own.
They cannot do it.
Let's be honest. Like, let's be honest. Do you think this is a huge problem, or like, do you feel like where do the parents get it wrong, or probably maybe like the society? Like, how did they contribute to this?
That's a very good question, because the society at large has a major role to play. If these substances are not allowed in, will they have access to them?
So you mean the government is doing some, like,
I'm mentioning governments, but then I'm not mentioning government. For real, the governments, they have put structures in place to avert the abuse of these substances, because I am very much aware of some certain agencies that are against these drugs, and then they fight tooth and nail to make sure that people don't carry illicit drugs or sell them to people who it was not professionally prescribed to. So that one is aside. But then, as a society generally, we need to curtail how we promote these substances inadvertently. What do I mean? In movies, as we're allowed to see, these drugs are being used like it's a normal thing. From the Western culture, the Western movies that we watch, what do? They portray all these substances to teach the young ones who are innocently watching these movies to just be entertained. But then they learn something from the movie. They learn that, this guy uses drug, or he used one white substance and he was able to do this kind of thing. What if I try and get my hand or lay my hands on such substances? I can be able to perform as much. That's one. Another scenario or another thing that contributes, our immediate environment, our immediate celebrities, our immediate the people we look up to.
Yeah, like role model.
Our role models, or let's say role models to some people.
Yeah.
So they take these things in their music videos to some people. They take these things in their music videos. They take them, on shoots, on live streams and stuff like that. What do you think people learn from? They want to emulate their role models. They want to be like, if I'm on a podcast like this, or if I'm on a society or the music video like this, I have to be taking these things to feel part of, or to feel among. So our immediate environment also has a role to play. Then to the parents, I believe parents also should limit, in a way, what the children consume. Or rather, if these children are watching or consuming these movies or this kind of videos online, but watching some kind of trends, you have to be there to channel them and let them know that this thing you're watching here, these are the side effects of this. Do not try this, or do not involve yourself in this because these are the
At the moment you involve yourself, it's not easy to like withdraw. Exactly. That's one thing.
Addiction for many
Has a automatic addiction to me. I feel like it has a very automatic addiction. Thank you. So let's talk about the solution. Like now we all know that okay, drug. Everybody, the society contribute to it. This blue contributes, blah 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 contributes. So now let's talk about the solution because awareness without direction is useless to man. You understand? So what can you youth or young people do instead of turning to drug addictors or something?
I understand where you're coming from. Solutions, in my own opinion, there are several ways to curtail or to limit the use of these drugs. Number one, which has already been established, are agencies that are against these drugs.
They are doing their job. Yeah,
that's one. If they should tighten those measures that are already in place, tighten the measures that have been put in place to avert the illicit spread of substances. And I believe that they have, to an extent, they have done really well.
yeah.
Because I remember when I was, let's say, far back in university, there was a trend then of this blue substance. I think, is it Refnol or what was it called? There's one blue substance that these boys usually take. That their tongue is blue. So
See, I don't even know, but I just know that
I stay in a very rural area, so I'm privy to some information and to some things. I see so many things, which I can say I'm very glad that I was not, I didn't get influenced. So because of my upbringing, which brings us to another solution, but then let's keep that aside. So these agencies should put more strict measures to curtail the use of these illicit substances. That is one. Secondly, we need to desensitize, or is it sensitize our environment, especially the young ones who are upcoming, because the damage has been done to an extent to those who are already doing it. But then these young ones who are coming up now, they need to be sensitized about these drugs and their side effects, making reference to people whom have used this drug over time and showing them how damaging these drugs can be to their lives in the long run. Because most of these young people or the youths, they don't understand over time that some kind of activities or some kind of practices has a side effect or a very damaging effect to their lives. So they need to be sensitized about such informations on drugs and the likes. Thirdly, parental guidance, which I've already highlighted before, whereby the parent need to talk to their children and let them know the do's and the don'ts, giving them examples, like making them understand.
those are the help that food. Like
Yes,
those that are struggling,
exactly.
like maybe like not get involved, or probably maybe people that what of people that are struggling to like leave the you are talking about people that shouldn't turn into
Yeah.
what they call it, but people that are struggling, what do you
So for people who are already in the addiction,
yeah
ha,
I feel like a therapy or probably a nice support system
in Nigeria,
yeah.
Nigeria is a therapy on its own. Nigeria is a whole therapy on its own. So I believe, for such
When you go start to dey collect mentorship now, make them they pay you.
no, for you, I don't think therapy stuff really work in Nigeria. Maybe those from the neighbor babies or those from some kind of environment. We cannot be telling somebody in Mushi who's already used to taking something like that therapy. Can he afford therapy? He's only looking for the daily 200 or 1K to buy the canna and smoke for it to feel alright.
What if you give those people money? If you just do say you don't go, you don't even need to just look at that. They don't have to use that money.
Once you give them the applause they already bring and can't give them, they don't understand how money don't show for this guy. So one way or another, we self or the environment, we even contribute to this guy, because you see this guy, you know that this guy obviously does drugs, but then you see handing cash.
Okay, let me do it this way. Okay, I want you to like look at my audience and tell them like, if someone is listening to you right now,
Okay.
and is battling with drug abuse silently, what will you say to them?
My brother, first of all, you need to start going to church. Go and pray. Pray very well. Meet your pastor and pray. Secondly,
To my audience.
secondly, after praying, although prayer might not really help you because you need to put in the work. You need to get involved in something. Once you see that you're already alone, you are most likely going to go back to these drugs or going to go and use drugs. Try as much as possible to quit a phone call or stand up wherever you are. Move out. Go and meet a friend that you know that doesn't appreciate drugs. Move out of your comfort zone. Move out of that place, that confinement that will make you use those drugs. Move out. Or you call somebody to come and get you where you are.
Okay, so to sum it up, I would say I want you guys to know that you are not weak. You are human,
The human.
but you deserve so not escape.
Yeah.
So you understand?
Yeah. So they can also use therapy. You know, that's some
But it doesn't therapy in Nigeria does not work now. They just find some therapy section.
No, therapy works, but then it requires the patients to be very much dedicated or ready for it.
Okay, so now quick question for my host here. I said for my host. Quick question from you. One thing youths need to know that is more than, like, what do you think youths need to know that is more than drugs in Nigeria?
That is more harmful than
No, like, I mean, what do you think youths could know instead of them getting involved in drug? What do you think they can actually put their other
channel.
yes?
Okay, so yes, that's a very good point because I believe if you are pretty much engaged, you know what causes addiction is when you are less busy. You have time to do drugs.
Drugs, yeah.
If you are engaged, you are doing something with your hands, something you derive joy doing, because those drugs, they derive joy taking those drugs. But then if you are busy with something much more productive, that you know that at the end of the day, after doing this stuff, you get paid for it, and you are actually happy doing this thing. If you are involved in such activities, I believe you will not remember to go do those jobs, and with time it will reverse. But then I have a very good experience with him. I was battling with an addiction. Okay, I will not mention that here because I know. But then I used to always go on my phone, do some things on my phone, and I know that it was very difficult for me to stop doing that thing. But then I remember something when I went for youth studies. Okay, that was where it taught me that if you are busy doing something else, you don't have time to battle that your addiction. Now, during that youth service, I was pretty much engaged from the onset because I was very much interested in this NYSC because I've been hearing stories about NYSC, posted to different places. So I did my NYSC in our show, and fortunately for me, I was made a platoon leader. It laid a lot of responsibility on me.
You have always been a leader, yeah.
So at the extent, I've always found myself in leadership positions. No, but then what did this teach me? Over time, during that period of 3 weeks, I was always busy. I was never in the hostel. I was never with my phone. I go out very early in the morning, as early as 5, or what time was it 4 during NYSC, whereby the big boys is rank.
Yeah.
Everybody's out of the hostel.
That thing give me PTSD when I did work out.
So you stay outside. I stay outside, walking up from here to there, trying to put things in place, trying to organize maybe drama, organize parade and the likes. I go back to bed around 10. That's when it's light out. So what time do I have to go back to my phone to do whatever I was doing? There was pretty much no time. So it made me understand that if you engage,
Yeah, sure, you go still tell us.
I'll not tell you. I'll not tell you. But then it's a story for another day. If you like to know, when I'm ready to share, I'll share. But then it really
Consider the comment section.
it really made me understand. It really made me understand that having your hands busy it's something you really love doing.
We will not remember
Do not have to want addiction. Do not remember to go back to what's that addiction that you have. So that pretty much.
So lastly, I want you to give one message for the parents. Like one message.
For our parents, yes, our parents have a very key role to play, and I'm very proud of the parents that I have.
I'm proud of my parents.
I'm proud of it.
Thank you.
Yes, for real. They were very much,
And I'm proud of all the good parents out there.
Yes,
A very good
they are doing a very good job out there. If you have put structures in place to make it your kids, your children,
God bless
that's
you
fine.
guys, man.
Make them understand these are the do's, these are the don'ts, with examples, not just say don't do this and then leave it at that. If you say don't do this, make them understand why you shouldn't do this. It makes them
Like that is what they are not getting.
yeah. So I believe making your children know why you don't want them to do some things, giving them examples, make them understand better. So it keeps them relaxed and makes them trust you better, trust your judgment. So that's the message I have for parents, and keep doing the good work you have been doing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ovo. And this conversation isn't to shame anyone, and it's to open eyes, start conversation, and save lives. So if this episode helped you or made you think otherwise or anyone, share it with someone who needs it. You never know who is silently struggling. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast, bro. I appreciate you deeply. To everyone listening to me and listening to us, we are 2 years. So take care of your mind, your body, and your future. This is Rounds with Map, and I'll see you on the next episode.